Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razek at CMTrading. Today is August 23rd, 2018, and today is Thursday morning. Looking at the economic news, nothing scheduled for today, but tomorrow we have a couple of things coming up. But the markets are trading quite nicely. The dollar getting a little bit stronger across the board. Things started selling off yesterday in many categories except for commodities. Just as an FYI for tomorrow, we will not be having the daily review, although the markets are open tomorrow. But let's take a look at the markets and see what's been happening.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we're looking at the EURUSD, and as you can see, we sold off from 116.21 late yesterday, but we initially had a massive rally coming in from all the way from 1308 up to 1621. Now, these lines, you could cross-reference it from previous daily reviews. These support lines and resistance lines have been here, okay, throughout the time. Okay, so this resistance line at 1621 was already here, and as you can see, potentially we didn't close off on the initial support line, but we did close off and sell off on the second one. So just be aware of that we did sell off a little bit here, and we're trading at 1554 right now. Okay, and that potentially is a minor support level right here. Could be a head and shoulders. That's the head. This would be one shoulder, and this would be subsequent shoulder. This would be a bullish pattern. So just be aware of that later today. If we do see that we do hold this 1554-ish level, we may see another take on the upside. So keep that in mind. Now, looking at the Aussie USD, we sold off much more sharply. Okay, and we didn't rally as high up as the euro did. So just take that into consideration. But we did rally to resistance level, and we mentioned this yesterday when we see this sell-off, and sure enough, at 73.66, we saw that sell-off. So we're just trading right now at 72.90. As long as this stays above this 280-ish level, this may still have a new range that it's going to be trading within as it solidifies into a new range. Now, looking at the GBPUSD, now this also sold off a little bit, okay, but the bounce was quite significant. Okay, so I'm not sure to say that it's a dead cat bounce, and we're going to see ourselves back in this area, 2690-ish area. However, if we do keep anywhere above 2818, okay, we may see it continue going up. So just be aware of that, okay? A couple of scenarios that could possibly happen, and you can, start building a position, somewhere, or tiering first tier at about there, okay, potentially. And then if you see that it's working, second tier, third tier, and start taking your profits maybe about there. So, keep that in mind as that continues to trade later today and into the weekend, all right? But looking at the Turkish lira, dead, nothing, okay, silence. 6 flat. Okay, you can see that quite clearly that it's been flat ever since Monday, and I did expect this, all right, because as the rhetoric kind of subsides, and the market has already digested some of the tariffs that's being imposed on Turkey, and Turkey finding other partners to really do business with, things have pretty much subsided, at least for the short term. So we got to keep an eye on it to see how it develops moving forward. Now, looking at oil. Oil had a decent rally yesterday to 67.86. Now, we initially thought it would sell off at about resistance level right there, okay, but it didn't. Okay, so let's say you did enter this on a short. Okay, you could have seen that it, had a stop loss somewhere in between these two areas, okay, and saw that it's breaking out higher and actually flipped it and go long. Okay, you're looking to make money ultimately, and that would have been a decent play on the upside, okay, for a potential recovery for a little bit of that first tier again as you initially entered that market. So just, even though the market, even though you read the tape incorrectly, there's still areas for you to make money as long as you're managing the trade, correctly. If you look at oil yesterday, looking at gold here, 1191, nothing really to write home about, okay? Trading in a very tight range after rallying all the way to 1200. And mind you, that's important because that's a roundup number, and generally these things go up to round up numbers and then sell off. So 1191 right now, I think we're going to be trading within a new range. Maybe the upper range is 1200, lower range obviously 1158. So keep that in mind as that continues to trade later today, if we do see a little bit of a trickling effect later today. Now the Dow Jones, this is really very significant. We look at a daily chart, and this is something I brought up yesterday and the day before, is that we hit this 25,795, okay, which we hit before back in February after the massive debacle that we had, okay, and right now we didn't continue that momentum on the upside. So although we've made a higher high here, okay, this still hasn't showed us that it's, on an upwards trend. Okay, the initial, boost that gave us this little rally right here was mostly, because of Walmart stating that it and great quarterly results, and also giving higher guidance moving into the next quarter, which is always nice to see. Okay, that's positive news for the markets, and the market rally on back of that, especially a company like Walmart, which is less e-commerce, more consumer goods, which is the engine of the American economy. So with that said, the Dow Jones still looks like it's want to take sit up, but it may take a breather before it does do that. So keep an eye on that, and we may even see a sell-off between now and September, okay, as normally we do during this time of the season and this time of the year. So just be aware of that as that continues to trade later today and into the weekend. Now, looking at Nasdaq right here, we're at the top of this range right here, and really I would look to short this. Okay, it says 74.20. We're trading between these two ranges. We're in the upper range. Looking at some of the hot bellwether stocks, the bigger stocks in the Nasdaq. Look at Apple, not really going above, not really selling off at the same time, but kind of looks like it's making a wedge formation, maybe a correctional move on the downside. Facebook really, at the bottom of its range here. Okay, may still break down below this 171. Amazon close to its highs, but not breaking out higher. Okay, so not everything is really trading in tandem right now, and not everything is breaking out higher. So we may expect to see a sell-off in the Nasdaq, especially if the Dow continues. Now, looking at Bitcoin, lastly, we hit this 66.25, and sure enough, we sold off. Okay, and we couldn't sustain above this 67.85-ish level, and sure enough, we're below. This actually looks like a head and shoulders. Look, that would be the head, that would be one shoulder, and this would be the second shoulder. And this is usually a bearish formation on the downside. So we may still see that, okay, if this is really following through on a head and shoulders formation. So just be aware of that as that continues to trade later today. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.